Hey there, I want to talk to you today about something that can literally change your life forever. And I know that might sound like one of those over-the-top promises you see all over the internet. But stay with me for just a moment. What if I told you there's a principle out there that doesn't require you to take any crazy action or follow a complicated strategy? What if the key to transforming your reality was something as simple as changing your own perception of the world and yourself? That's what I'm talking about today, the mirror principle. Now, I know it might sound a little out there, maybe even a bit woo-woo, but trust me, it's rooted in reality. The mirror principle is one of the most powerful concepts I've ever encountered, and if you really understand it and start applying it to your life, it can shift everything. I'm talking about turning the life you're living into one you've always dreamed of. So, let's break this down and dive into it. Have you ever looked around and thought to yourself, why does everything in my life seem to be falling apart? Why is this happening to me again and again? Maybe it's your finances, your relationships, or your career. You feel stuck, right? Like no matter how hard you try, things never seem to change. Here's the thing, it's not the world that's broken. It's your internal reflection, it's how you're seeing yourself, how you're seeing the world. And that brings us back to the mirror principle. You see, the world around you is not as random as it may seem. It's a mirror, reflecting back to you exactly what you believe about yourself and the world. So, if you want to change your reality, you first need to change the way you see yourself. And this is where the mirror principle comes into play. I know this might be a tough pill to swallow. You might be thinking, wait a minute, you mean the way I see myself and the world is affecting everything in my life? Yes, exactly. It all starts from within. The mirror principle shows us that everything we experience is a direct reflection of our beliefs, thoughts, and attitudes. If you're constantly seeing yourself as not good enough, then guess what? The world will reflect that belief back to you. But it's not all doom and gloom. The beauty of the mirror principle is that once you understand it, you can start shifting your life in a completely different direction. Instead of waiting for the world to change, you begin by changing how you see yourself. That's where everything starts. You've got to become the person who is already living the life you want. If you want to be a millionaire, you have to start by thinking like a millionaire, acting like one, and embracing the identity of someone who has already achieved that level of success. And I know you might be wondering, how do I do that? How do I start seeing myself differently? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. But before we do, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're just stuck in a cycle? Like no matter what you do, you can't break out of your current reality? That's exactly what the mirror principle addresses. If you don't change your internal image of yourself and your reality, your external circumstances will stay the same. So, what's the first thing you need to do? The first key to unlocking the mirror principle is to understand that the world around you is a direct reflection of your relationship with yourself and with the world. If you look in the mirror and see someone who's not good enough, that's exactly what the world will reflect back to you. It's like a feedback loop. Your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings are sending messages to the mirror of reality, and the mirror is just reflecting what's being projected. Here's where it gets interesting. The mirror of reality is not judging you. It's not saying, you're bad, or you're unworthy. No, the mirror is simply reflecting back what you truly believe deep down about yourself and the world. So, if you believe that money is hard to come by, guess what? The mirror will show you more situations where you struggle with money. If you believe that relationships are difficult or that you're unlucky in love, the mirror will reflect those beliefs back to you as well. But here's the catch. The mirror principle is not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process. You have to consciously and consistently change the image you project into the world. You have to actively choose to see yourself as the person you want to be, the person who already has what they want. And this is a practice, not a quick fix. One of the most powerful tools to start shifting your reality is through affirmations. Now, I know a lot of people roll their eyes when they hear about affirmations, but hear me out. Affirmations are one of the easiest ways to change your internal image. You start by affirming the identity you want to embody. If you want to be successful, start saying things like, I am worthy of success, or I am capable of achieving my goals. The more you say these affirmations, the more your subconscious mind starts to believe them. And guess what happens next? The mirror starts reflecting that belief back to you. But it's not just about affirmations. It's about taking action too. If you want to be a millionaire, You can't just sit around and say, "I am a millionaire," without taking any steps towards it. The mirror principle isn't about wishful thinking. It's about aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the person you want to become. You've got to take the steps necessary to become that person, and then watch as the world reflects the change back to you. This brings me to the second key of the mirror principle: delayed manifestation. The reality we see around us doesn't change instantly. It's like planting a seed in the ground. You don't expect it to grow overnight, right? It takes time. The same goes for the changes you want to see in your life. You can start visualizing your desired reality right now, but the physical manifestation will take time. That's the nature of how things work in this dimension. But here's where people often get discouraged. They start visualizing the life they want, but when the results don't show up immediately, they get frustrated. They start to think, "This isn't working. I'm not good enough. This is never going to happen." And that's when the mirror principle kicks in again. The world is reflecting back to you exactly what you believe. If you start doubting yourself and your ability to manifest your desires, the mirror will show you more reasons to doubt. So, what do you do in this situation? You've got to stay true to the identity you've created. You've got to hold on to the belief that what you want is coming, even if you don't see immediate results. It's like riding the waves of life. There are going to be ups and downs, but the key is to remain consistent with your beliefs and your actions, and eventually, the mirror will reflect the changes you've been working on internally. Let's talk about the third key to the mirror principle, which is about the content of your thoughts. The mirror of reality doesn't just reflect the general nature of your thoughts. It reflects the specific content of those thoughts. For example, if you're constantly complaining about your job, the mirror doesn't just reflect that you're dissatisfied with your job. It reflects the specific things you hate about it, like how much you dislike your boss or how much you hate the hours. And guess what? The more you focus on those negative aspects, the more the world will give you reasons to be dissatisfied. This is the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. If you focus on what you don't have, you're going to get more of what you don't want. But if you start focusing on what you already have, the blessings, the progress, the opportunities, the mirror will reflect that abundance back to you. So, how do you apply this? Simple. Start focusing on what you want, not what you don't have. Look at the progress you've already made in your life and build on that. The more you focus on the positive, the more the mirror will reflect that positivity back to you. Finally, let's talk about the fourth key: breaking the cycle. Most people get stuck in a cycle of observing their reality, getting frustrated, and then trying to change things from the outside. But the mirror principle teaches us that to change the world around you, you have to start by changing the internal image you're projecting. You have to stop observing your current reality and start creating the image of the reality you want. This can be a game changer. If you want to see real change in your life, you have to stop reacting to your external circumstances and start creating from the inside out. The more you focus on the image of your desired reality, the more the mirror will begin reflecting that back to you. I want you to understand something here. This isn't just theory. This is something I've experienced personally, and I can tell you that it works. I've seen my life change in ways I never thought possible by applying the mirror principle. I used to doubt it too, but when I started changing my internal image of myself and the world, everything shifted. So, if you're ready to break free from the cycle of dissatisfaction and start creating the life you truly want, I challenge you to embrace the mirror principle. Change the way you see yourself, change the way you see the world, and watch as reality begins to reflect those changes back to you. Remember, the mirror principle is one of the most powerful tools you can use to shape your reality. It all starts with you, and once you begin to change your internal reflection, the world around you will follow suit. It's time to take control and start creating the life you've always wanted. The mirror is waiting for you. What will you show it? Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to hear about the incredible transformations you're going to create in your life by applying the mirror principle.